Hey everyone, so I made a video about the school system in High Guardian Spice and how it sucks and is inconsistent. This one's a little addendum because there's something important that I forgot to bring up. So in episode 2 we're introduced to a class schedule. Essentially there are two tracks, the warrior and mage track, that students go on. You can also be on both tracks at once depending on your background, which is kind of weird, but they don't talk about it much. So the reason I bring this up is because in episode 6, for no reason whatsoever, both Rosemary, who's on the warrior tract, and Sage, who's on the magic tract, are put in the same class. This happens a few other times throughout the series as well. Rosemary is specifically stated to not be on the same track as Sage, and yet they just end up taking magic classes anyway? So there's like some offhanded dialogue about like the students being stuck in the same class for some reason. I don't know why they suddenly decided, oh, we're just gonna mix the classes together. That doesn't really make any sense. So they decide to take the magic users, the people who are there to learn magic, and specifically magic, and take them out of magic classes so they can learn to be a warrior. And they're taking the warriors, people who are there specifically to learn how to use swords and shit, to do magic stuff. Why? Now, if we ignore the fact that the warrior track shouldn't even exist because magic is so overpowered, why would you even want warriors? Let's just ignore that. Why are you taking people out of their specific roles to do stuff they're not supposed to be doing? These people are being specifically trained to fulfill a single role, either a warrior or a wizard. If they were focusing on having them be both, then that would be great. It would make a lot more sense. But Rosemary doesn't use any magic, neither do most of the other warriors, so why the fuck are we showing them training for something they're never going to use? Now, in episode 11, we see Amaryllis using an axe for, like, no reason. You're a magic user. You should be using magic to fight, not this dinky old axe. Now, from a writing perspective, I know why she's using the axe. It's because the writers want her to be useless in this fight so the Triad don't pick her for the mission. Because they need an excuse for Cal to get picked instead of her, even though realistically she'd be way more useful than Cal if she was using her fucking Terrasphere. But no, we need an excuse for Cal and Snapdragon to fight, so let's just ignore logic to make it happen. Now, I know this sounds like a lot of side tangents, but if you've seen my other videos, you know exactly where I'm going with this. So let me just skip right to the point. Things are just happening because the writers want them to, not because they make sense. Why did they put so much emphasis on this class schedule system in episode 2? Because of drama. They want Sage and Rosemary to be split apart. Why do they decide randomly to drop the class schedule system and have warriors and wizards go in the same classes together? Because of drama. They want Sage to get jealous over Rosemary's plot-induced crush syndrome. Why are they taking all these wizards who would be way more useful using magic and forcing them to use swords and shit? Because of plot. Plot, 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 plot. This is the main fucking problem with this show. The writers want things to happen, but they don't think about how they would logically make any sense. There are ways to make all of these things work, it's just they don't think about them because they're probably too complicated. But fuck it, we don't have the budget to think about these things. Just write it, send it off to whatever studio's drawing all this. Don't double check the animation, I'm sure it's fine. You know, thinking about it, if they have VR systems that are so realistic you can't even tell the difference between real life and them, why don't they use those in schools instead of all these like big classrooms and shit? Just like have them put on the VR goggles and just go out to whatever training simulation you want them to be in. That would probably be way more cost effective than like any of this. Oh, wait, I know why. It's because the writers just thought VR cool, threw it in there. Forgot about it. But no, who needs consequences for adding things into the story without thinking about them? Just turn off your brain. You're thinking too hard. You're too intelligent. That's the problem.